Today, we're talking about biometric implants to monitor transplant patients for organ rejection and GE Aerospace developing a robotic worm to inspect and repair jet engines. Let's start off by taking the temperature of this biometric implant. Researchers at Northwestern University developed a bioelectric implant that can detect temperature fluctuations that typically happen right before a body rejects an organ transplant. The sensor is smaller than a fingernail and a mere 220 micrometers thick. This new sensor technology is thin enough to sit directly on a kidney's fibrous layer, called the renal capsule, which surrounds and protects the organ. The device works by continuously monitoring changes to blood flow and temperature. The built-in thermometer can sense increases as minuscule as 0.004 degrees Celsius. Once an irregularity is detected, the sensor, which contains a microcoin cell battery for power, uses Bluetooth to alert a patient or physician via a smartphone or tablet. Any increase typically signals inflammation, which is a potential sign of transplant rejection. After any surgery that involves an organ transplant, the risk of rejection is high. The sensor was developed specifically for kidney transplants, but it could also work for other organs, including the liver and lungs. Kidney transplants in the U.S. are on the rise and are usually recommended for people who will not be able to live without dialysis. The American Kidney Fund cites that an acute rejection of a kidney transplant 1 month after surgery happens in about 5 to 20% of patients that go under. That's why it's critical to detect transplant rejection, which occurs when your body's immune system treats the new organ like a foreign object and attacks it. If a healthcare provider detects signs of rejection early enough, medical intervention can preserve the new organ in the new host. Northwestern researchers said that the device detected warning signs of organ rejection 3 weeks earlier than current monitoring methods. The current gold standard for detecting rejection is a biopsy, where a tissue sample is extracted from the transplanted organ and then analyzed in a lab. However, biopsies are invasive and can cause bleeding and increase the risk for infection. Despite developing an innovative, first-of-its-kind product, researchers at Northwestern University still have a long way to go. It still needs to be tested on humans in a clinical setting before it can make any impact in the surgical market. Northwestern's John A. Rogers, a bioelectronics expert who led the device development, said in a statement that his team is now evaluating ways to recharge the coin cell battery so that it can last a lifetime. Now, for a timeless dance and a new jet engine maintenance innovation, the worm. GE Aerospace has developed a worm-like robot that could one day inspect and repair jet engines. The sensor worm is designed to serve as extra sets of eyes and ears for service operators as they examine the insides of aircraft. GE says the soft robot can minimize downtime and perform less invasive inspections and, in the future, make repairs itself. The company compares the sensor worm's role in aerospace engineering and repairs to how soft robotics have allowed for minimally intrusive patient surgeries. These technologies are enabling less invasive inspection and repair of jet engines on the wing to reduce downtime, the company wrote. GE says the worm-like machine could give operators virtually unfettered access to inspect engines without disassembling them. Resembling an inchworm remote-controlled by operators, the sensor worm can crawl across various engine parts, including rotating wind turbine blades. It can sense and avoid obstacles automatically, reach places where gravity may stop other tools, thanks to its suction cup feet, and measure the thickness of thermal barrier coatings. GE says it can even sniff out gas leaks. The company wrote, with their soft, compliant design, they could inspect every inch of a jet engine, transmitting live video and real-time data about the condition of parts that operators typically check. GE Aerospace developed the Robo-Worm through Semi-Flex Tech, a U.S. Army-funded public/private coalition focused on advancing flexible electronics. GE hasn't mentioned how far along the worm is in its development or when we can expect deployment in the field. Engadget asked the company spokesperson to clarify, and we will give you an update as soon as they respond. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributors Malak Saleh and Will Shanklin and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.